In the 12th chapter of Daniel, the prophet is informed by an angel of God that the prophetic visions were designed as a mystery, a word puzzle sealed throughout the ages, only to be solved in the end times. And in that time when the puzzle is revealed, it will continue to be a mystery to most. Yet there will be some wise individuals that will understand. Previously, we addressed the 70th week of Daniel and determined that 7 years of allotted prophetic time has yet to be fulfilled, and that all unfulfilled prophetic passages leading up to Christ's advent will be fulfilled during these final 7 years. We found that this final 7 years concludes with the advent of Messiah and begins with the confirmation of a covenant or treaty. We also found that in the middle of the 70th week, the Antichrist is predicted to desecrate the yet-to-be-built third temple, and that this desecration will designate the start of the Great Tribulation period, which Christ has forewarned us about. And in order to physically escape this apocalyptic period, God has provided the confirmation of the covenant as a primary sign for those of you that understand that you will have 3.5 years to get to God's place of refuge, Mount Zion in Jerusalem, once the covenant is confirmed. Shalom. My name is Guy Smith, and this is the 10th video in this channel as the days of Noah. In this video, we will be determining the number of days in the first half of Daniel's 70th week, which is often referred to as the beginning of birth pains. We begin in Matthew 24, where Christ further divides Daniel's 70th week into 4 smaller periods of time. The first period we'll address is the one that is common in both the Old and the New Testaments, the Day of Yahweh. This day is the final period, which concludes the 70th week of Daniel. It is the day of Christ's advent. It is also the first day of Christ's millennial rule, and the first resurrection. The next period is the first half of the tribulation, the beginning of birth pains. This is where Christ describes wars and rumors of wars. Also famines, plagues, and earthquakes. He compares these events to those of birth pains. The following period is the Great Tribulation. And as previously stated in video 9, this period begins when the abomination of desolation desecrates the yet-to-be-built third temple. The next period is the wonders in the heavens, where the sun will be darkened and the moon will turn blood red, which will occur immediately after the tribulation. And according to the prophet Joel, before the day of Yahweh. The first step in determining the intervals of these 4 periods is to calculate the number of days in a 7-year period. We begin with 365 days in a calendar year and multiply times the 7 years of the tribulation period, which equals 2,555 days. This is the number of days in the final 7 years, and we will be identifying passages which total 2,555 days. The duration of these last 3 periods can be found in the account of the 2 witnesses. First, they will prophesy for 1,260 days, which are the 3.5 years or 1,260 days of the Great Tribulation. Next, they will be killed, and for 3.5 days their bodies will lay in the streets of Jerusalem. These 3.5 days is the duration of the wonders in the heavens. Then, After 3.5 days, the two witnesses will be raised from the dead. This is not a special resurrection just for the two witnesses. Rather, this is a description of the two witnesses participating in the first resurrection at Christ's advent on the day of Yahweh. Determining the duration of the second half of the tribulation period can be achieved by adding these three segments. We start with the 1260 days of the Great Tribulation period, then add the 3.5 days, rounded up to 4, that the two witnesses lay dead in the streets of Jerusalem, plus the 1-day duration of the day of Yahweh, for a total of 1265 days. So the duration of the second half of the tribulation period is 1265 days. To determine the length of the first half of the tribulation period, we need only subtract the 1265 days of the second half from the 2555 days of Daniel's 70th week, which leaves 1290 days remaining for the duration of the first half of the tribulation period. And the outstanding 1290 days of the beginning of birth pains can be found in Daniel 12:11. So, in order to physically escape the predicted Great Tribulation, God, through the prophetic scriptures, has provided the confirmation of a covenant by the Antichrist as a primary sign for those of you that are wise and understand that you will have 1290 days to get to God's place of refuge, Mount Zion in Jerusalem, once the covenant is confirmed. This is when information, the fourth element of Bible prophecy. These passages can be shaded blue and then added to the when category. To eliminate speculation, God, through the prophetic scriptures, has provided a secondary sign, which will occur 255 days after the Antichrist confirms the covenant, 1,035 days before the start of the Great Tribulation. Are you interested in knowing what this secondary sign is? We will be addressing this secondary sign in the next video. I encourage you to subscribe